so she's not.
And so we'll do this a couple times. And I'm going to sing this part, so if you want to keep playing, I'm going to sing that.
Okay.
We just go on. We'll end with the many times. Somebody.
Okay.
I'll try to turn the page. Actually, I don't turn the page. And let's do it here.
You on?
I don't know. Am I on?
I don't think so. Yeah.
It doesn't help if I'm muted.
There we go.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Hopefully, those of you who were here last week had fun with Nefesh Mountain. We're going to open with one of their songs.
I want to hear somebody pray. I want to hear somebody pray. Down in the valley and over yonder, I want to hear somebody pray. I want to hear somebody sing. I want to hear somebody sing. Down in the valley and over yonder, I want to hear somebody sing. One more time. I want to hear somebody pray. I want to hear somebody pray. Down in the valley and over yonder, I want to hear somebody pray. Lie, 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 lie. I want to hear somebody pray. I want to hear somebody pray. Down in the valley and over yonder, I want to hear somebody pray, somebody pray, somebody pray, somebody pray, somebody pray, somebody pray.
We continue on pages 2 and 3. And Sarah, can I invite you to light Shabbat candles this evening?
Hello.
As these Shabbat candles light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
We continue with music from Shabbat on page 11, Mayafeh Hayom. Actually on page 10, second paragraph. Mayafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Mayafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Mayafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Mayafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with Lechuna Ranana, which you can find on page 12. Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai. Nagila, Nagila, Lesoyi, Shenu Nirkavana, Betodam. Naria, Naria, Lesoyi, Shenu, Mismirot, Naria, Lon. Lechoneranena, 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 Ladonai. Lechoneranena, 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 Ladonai. Naria, Naria, Letzoyi, Shenu Nikadma, Fana, Betodam. Naria, Naria, Letzoyi, Shenu, Mizmirot, Naria, Lo. Lechoneranena, 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 Ladonai. Lechoneranena, 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 Ladonai.
Pages 20 and 21, we join together in Lechado D, welcoming Shabbat as a bride.
We'll do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Lechadodi likrat kalai, alalai, 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabelav. Lechadodi likrat kalai, alalai, 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabelav. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad, Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Heirot v'echadecha u'shmo echad, L'shemot tiferet v'lithilah, Lechadodi likrat kalai, alalai, 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabelav. Lechadodi likrat kalai, alalai, 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabelav. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha,
כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם ניסוחיו סוף מעשה במחשבת הילה לך דודי לקראת קלה יללה 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 פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה יללה 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 פני שבת נקבלה.
Verse 5.
התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת מעלם, גם בשמחה ובתולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 פני שבת נקבלה.
Before you take your seats, take a moment to greet people around you if you haven't had a chance to do that. Those of you online can greet each other as well.
Okay. Our service continues with Chatzi Kaddish on page 26. Page 26. Yitkadav, Yitkadav, Shemer Rabbah.
Amen.
Yamad Yivrach Yerutei V'yamlich Malchutei B'chayechon V'yomechon
ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה, בעגלה, ובזמן קריב אמרו.
Amen.
יהי שמרה מברך, לעולם עולם העמיה, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר וירומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה. בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ואמרו.
Amen. Please rise and bow to your spirit for Baruch, page 28.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la la la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
On page 31, we join together. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and night, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 32.
Avat olam Beit Yisrael, amechavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu lemadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochbeinu v'komeinu, nasiach bechukecha, v'nizmach b'divrei Torata, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגב יומם בלילה. ועבדך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו Adonai echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Vaed.
Please be seated. Page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
On page 41, we join together. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Hold your hand there, but also turn back to page 342 for Miriam's song.
And if you want to dance, feel free. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every thread and every strand she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances towards the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. As Miriam stood upon the shore, she gazed across the seas. The wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're gonna dance tonight. Page 40. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, מלכותך ראו פניך, בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים, זה לי אנו ואמרו, זה לי אנו ואמרו, אדוני, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי יפד אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
We pray for peace and protection with Hashkivenu on page 42.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לחלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. העמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Page 44, a song for Shabbat.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We continue on page 46 with the Amidah. I invite you to rise and bow to your spirit. Adonai, Sifatai tiftach, Ophia giteilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Geula livnei bneihem, Leman Shemo be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor leolam Adonai, Mechaye hakol ata rav lehoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, O matir asurim, O mekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha bal givurot, O midom elach, melech memit, O mechayeh, O matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata le'achayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. We continue with our private prayers. If you are using the words in the Siddur, in the prayer book, I would just like to point out that on page 56, we include the blessing for Rosh Chodesh because today is the first day of the month of Iyar. When you're finished with your prayers, you may be seated.
On page 62 at the bottom of the page, we sing together Oseh Shalom, alternating the words Ve'al Kol Yisrael and Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. Oseh Shalom Mimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Mimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru, Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel. Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel. Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Prayers of peace in our hearts. We also think of those in our hearts, in our community, in our world who are in need of healing of mind, healing of body, healing of spirit. If there's anyone you're thinking of on this Shabbat, I invite you to share their names with us at this time.
Natalie Mayer.
Lindsay Clecan.
We join in Heal Us Now as we sing together. Rifa'enu Adonai v'nei Rafeh, Hoshienu v'nivashea, El karov lecho korav, ach karov lireav yishbo. We pray for healing of the body. We pray for healing of the soul, for strength of flesh and mind and spirit. We pray to once again be whole. El Rifana. Oh, please heal us now. Rifuat ha-nefesh, urifuat ha-guf, rifuat shlema. Heal us now. Heal us now. Hoshia et amecha, uvarech et nachlatecha, ureim v'naseim ad haolam. Mi sheberach avotenu, mi sheberach imotenu, ana Adonai Hoshiana.
We pray for healing of our people. We pray for healing of the land and peace for every race and nation, every child, every woman, every man. Eona Rifana. Oh, please heal us now. Refuat ha-nefesh, refuat ha-guf, refuat shlema. Elna rifana. Oh, please heal us now. Refuat ha-nefesh, refuat ha-guf, refuat shlema. Heal us now, heal us now. Heal us now. Heal us now. Heal us now.
Anyone ever been sick? Some of you are doing exactly what it says in this week's Parsha, although maybe not because you're sick, but because you're trying to avoid getting sick. Our Parsha this week is Tazria Metzora. Starts off with the description of what happens when there is a child born and the mother has to bring some offerings and is considered impure for a certain amount of time, depending on whether she's birthed a boy or a girl, and so on. And then we get into all sorts of skin conditions, diseases, and which also, by the way, happen to infect buildings and structures and clothing as well. So not any sort of skin disease that we could actually identify today. Don't try. Trust me, they have tried, and the solution is we can't figure out one. It is not leprosy, by the way. Tzara'at, even though it's often translated as leprosy, it is very much not. It's tzara'at. Anyway, what the Torah says is that when a person is diagnosed as having tzara'at, they are supposed to cover their upper lip and bare their head and walk through the community. Well, right, what's the covering of the upper lip? I see a few of you. Yeah, wearing masks of some sort, and declare impure while being accompanied by a priest to the outside of the camp for a week or two of quarantine. All I can tell you is that prior to 2020, rabbis had a very hard time talking about tzara'at and the experience of it. Right, Rabbi? But after 2020, it has become much more explainable and real and present in our lives, this sense of sometimes having to be isolated from the community. I remember reading a friend's blog post. She had contracted MRSA, multi-drug resistant or methicillin resistant, depending on which version it is, Staphylococcus aureus. Don't you like how I could pronounce the whole thing? And that for a number of weeks, she was very much in quarantine, not allowed to interact with anybody, lest she transmit MRSA to them. And also because she was on a number of drugs to help clear the MRSA, lest they bring anything else to her. And then even after that, once she was allowed to re-enter her community, she was still not able to connect with people the same way. Shaking hands was one of the things that she wasn't supposed to do, giving hugs. The things that we associate with life in community were boundaries for her that she wasn't able to participate in. And she did nothing wrong, right? Just as many of us who have gotten COVID over the past 3 years, and amazingly, there are still some people who haven't, but many of us who have gotten COVID over the last 3 years haven't necessarily done anything wrong, right? But we got sick, we needed to quarantine, we needed to do the things. And then we needed to do some sort of ritual. With COVID, mostly it was testing some more. Right, we don't have the priests to go to assure us that we are rid of tzara'at, so we use our home tests to assure us that we are no longer contagious with COVID, to say that we can now re-enter the community. It's a process, and it's one that both includes distance and return. And the truth is that even the text at the beginning of childbirth and the impurity that comes with childbirth and the separation of the mother from the rest of the community in those early days and months, something has changed, and there needs to be some sort of process of re-entry into the community, recognizing the change in status. Not that anything was done wrong, we just need to acknowledge the change. And that is what I think Tazria Metzora is about, even though it uses the language of impurity, which we tend to think of as something bad. And it uses the language of bringing a sin or guilt and a guilt offering, which we tend to think of, again, as bad. Those of you, there might only have been you who were at my talk at the WRJ, the Women of Reformed Judaism Pacific District Torah study, heard me talk about how sin is not inherently bad. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Sin is not inherently bad in the biblical context. The way we use sin today, yes, it is bad. But in the biblical context, the word chet, which means sin, is not inherently bad. It just indicates a breakdown in the relationship between us and God, or us and the community, or us and the land. And it needs to be repaired, but it's not like you've done something wrong. It just is. In the same way that when you're driving your car, or even if you just leave your car parked on the side of the street, even if you park it in the garage, honestly, it's gonna get dust. The windshield is gonna get dusty, right? It's not going to be a perfectly clean surface, even if you're doing nothing, because life happens. And if you're driving your car around, which you're supposed to do, you sometimes get bugs squished on the windshield. And sometimes there's rain, and sometimes there's snow, and these things happen. We need to fix them, because if you leave your windshield super dusty or covered in snow, or driving across the country and covered in all of the bugs that you pick up along the way because it's the middle of summer and it's humid and there are lots of bugs outside, this may or may not have happened to me before. You've got to clean the windshield every once in a while, right? It gets gooky, which is the technical term. We need to do something to repair the purity of our car, of our windshield. We need to do something to repair the purity of the relationship when there's disease and we need to re-enter the community. We need to do something to repair the relationship when our status has changed and we re-enter the community in some ways as a different person. It's just some amount of repair. It's not bad. The rabbis, surprisingly and disappointingly, don't quite understand that. They assume that tzara'at is caused by wrongdoing. They assume that the new mother has done something wrong, especially if it's a girl that she's birthed, that requires her to bring these sin and guilt offerings. But the truth is, when you look at it in the larger context, it's just about returning relationships to purity and to wholeness. And I hope that as you are going through life, when those breakdowns happen, just acknowledge them and do what needs to be done to return, if possible, to wholeness. And I think that if we can leave the judgment aside, just recognize the difference, repair and return, that we will live our lives much more whole and much more at peace. Shabbat Shalom. David, are you up for announcements?
I didn't know it till now, but yes, clearly I am. Here we go.
I think you're our only board member here tonight. Thank you.
Of course.
And you should have it in the microphone.
That would make sense. Then I wouldn't get to use the clip. Shabbat Shalom. Good evening, friends. It is so nice to be here with you and everyone online. I'm David Plastrick, representing the board this evening. Do you ever find yourself knowing deep down that there are exciting events coming up, but not remembering all the details? Maybe you are very busy. Perhaps you are a humble greeter pressed into announcement duty. My friends, I am here to remind you there's a place where all these details are streamlined for you. It is your Shabbat Shalom email. I'm not going to simulate what it would look like to check that right now, but I know you know how to check it. Check that email. It has everything. A few things coming up that you should know about. Number one, it's only a few weeks until the rummage sale. Have you started rummaging? Are you looking for the items that are going to be big ticket items? This is an exciting fundraiser. We are only 3 weeks away. Begin finding those beautiful items. Check those garage corners, basement nooks. This is next week. Drop-off is next week. Excuse me, 2 weeks. Simulating not knowing some details. Just little cribbing off to the side. Drop-off so soon. 1 week away, 2 weeks until the sale. Find those items. You know they could find a better home. It will help us all. On Wednesday this week, a family gathering, reminder, family gathering honoring Israel's independence. That is at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. The speaker series on Yiddish music, Thursday morning at 11. It is not too late to join in on that. Even if you think your time has passed, it has not. It's available still. Vashti's banquet is coming up Saturday, April 29th. There is enthusiasm in the room. It is coming soon. It is still time for RSVPing for that as well. Spiff It Up Day. If you are like me, you are maybe looking outside and wanting to do some outdoor things. If you are like me, you are also sort of waiting for it to be warm enough to actually plant things, hope that they grow. Hey, maybe direct some of that energy towards our temple grounds. We could always use a little extra help. Spiff It Up Day is Sunday, April 30th, 10 until 2, with a lunch in the middle. Anyone who's available would be truly helpful. Check those details as well. As always, I know all of us are really thankful for Sean's steadfast security work, keeping us safe and well taken care of. Give him a tip of the hat on the way out. Give him a pat on the shoulder. We really appreciate his help. Is there a sponsor or supporter of the ONEG this evening? It's maybe the only thing I don't know. All right. And Jason working the boards. Thank you so much. Thank you for humoring my scattered announcements. It is a true pleasure to be here with you this evening. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. Thank you to David for
Thank you.
that
Very
spontaneous
smooth.
and most amusing announcements I've ever experienced. Thank you also to Emery, Stacy, and Fabian for their help with setup and cleanup of our ONEG, and Debbie for accompanying us, as always. The one other thing that I want to mention is that the Yom HaAtzmaut event on Wednesday night is up in Seattle, Kirkland area. It is not here. We're joining together with the larger community to celebrate, and it is a family event. And I'm hoping to hear back from one of my colleagues' mentors to see if he'll do a talk for us on what's going on in Israel on Tuesday night for Yom HaAtzmaut. More information as soon as I talk to him. Okay. Oh, and the board meeting is on Monday night. Board meeting Monday at 6. Okay. Let's return to our prayer books for Aleinu. No, let's not do Aleinu quite yet. We are going to do two things. What period are we in right now? We are counting the Omer. And that can be found on page 278. In the middle of the page, we join together, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer, hayom shisha asar yom shehem shnei shavuot u'shnei yamim la'omer. Today is the 16th day, which is 2 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. And a blessing, a special blessing for the month of Iyar, page 261. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu shetechadesh aleinu et hachodesh hazeh letova ve'livracha v'titen lanu chayim arukim, chayim shel shalom, chayim shel parnasa, chayim shetehevanu ahavat Torah, V'yirat shamayim chayim shimalu mishalot libenu letova v'nomar. Amen. Our God, join with me. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine. a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Iyar Hu Hayom, the new month of Adar begins, yesterday and today. It's a two-day Rosh Chodesh. Yesterday was actually the 30th of Nisan, and today is the 1st of Iyar. We still count the last day of Nisan as Rosh Chodesh because why not? Because it's fun. We have more time to celebrate. We should have done Hallel.
It's okay.
Tomorrow, yes. Okay, now we continue. I love Hallel. Now we continue with Aleinu on page 282. Please rise and body your spirit.
Aleinu l'shapeach l'adon hakol, l'atei gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated.
Bless you. Livriut.
Our thoughts turn to those who have died in recent days and weeks. If you are in a period of Shiva or Shloshim, I invite you to rise. We're thinking of my uncle Shmulik Sadot, Carolyn, who died last Saturday and was buried on Monday in Israel. And in our community, Carolyn Hirschberger, we're in the period of Shloshim, Joe Kleiner Hyman, Herman Kleiner, and Arthur Greenblatt.
I just also wanted to add Val's cousin passed away unexpectedly this week, Vera Lukomsky, and we're also thinking of former congregant Dick Seitz, who passed away and whose funeral was this week.
And we also think of those whose yahrzeits occur in the coming week. As I say the name of your loved one, I invite you to rise so that we can acknowledge you as a mourner. Harriet Aronowitz, Herbert Ira Burns, Morley Brotman, Gertrude Crystal Pound, Mark Joshua Eisen, Mac Fingerroot, Ronald Glickman, Gertrude Hermanson, Anne Lillian Kartzman, Louis A. Lawson, Myrtle Lindsay, Victoria Mazoff, Betty Miller, George Montepoli, Ethel Plisco, Kenneth Powell, Seraphima Rappaport, John Remack, Betty Robinson, Alice Rosenthal, Harry Rotman, Gertrude Schneider, Henry Stone, Anna Toriel, Martha Webb, and Robert Wilstatter. As we think of them, we say Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be a blessing. The mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 294. We rise and body your spirit. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, Ba'alma divrach hirtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'gala u'vizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudusha b'rechu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran ve'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Amen.
May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say, Amen.
Amen.
Tonight we are concluding with the words of Oseh Shalom, which can be found at the bottom of the page or back on page 62.
And if you were at services this past weekend, previous weekend, or at the concert from Nefesh Mountain, you heard this very nice melody. So join with us. Start slow. Let's try there. Oh, there we go. Oseh shalom bimromah, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. 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 Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromah, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromah, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. Yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai. Oseh shalom bimromah, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromah, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom. We continue back on page 5 for Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit. Ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-shabbat l'chaim.
That's for you, Val.
Good, perfect. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'tei avos.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.